example of Sant Sri Asharanji Bapu. He took initiation in the year of 1999 by his guru and is a seeker in the school of Advaita Vedanta. He has been volunteering as a yoga and sanskar teacher for many years in Ganesha temple. Venkat's talk will be on the limbs of yoga and obstacles in meditation and how to deal with them. Venkatji.
So thank you. It's very hard to talk after Dr. Mahadevan. So he covered a good bit of, basically my topic is yoga in preparation for meditation. So as Dr. Mahadevan mentioned, the word yoga has been is quite often misunderstood. As it was described, yoga, literally in Sanskrit it means union. So the next question is, what is the union about? So the union between the I, human, with the Supreme. So that is yoga in our context. So now, so there are various ways, various different yogas to achieve this union, like the Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga, or Raja Yoga. So the topic here talking about is more Raja Yoga, so meditation. So for this, so when we talk about just like Raja Yoga, so as it was mentioned, it's composed of the 8 parts, also called as Ashtanga Yoga. But Madhurji already went over that, so we're not going into detail about it. But in general, for us to get started, what is it? So basically, from a practical sense, how do we be able to do this union? So as it was described, like, so one of the biggest things, just like any science, like for example, scientists, they reject anything that they cannot interpret it. So what we consider as supernatural is actually not supernatural. But it looks supernatural to this grass, so we cannot perceive them. They're like, we cannot see them grass with our grass organs, basically, the grass forms. So, but there are subtleties to it. Yogi not consider it as a supernatural. So basically, like, how do we? It's basically like, how do we get into the subtleties of it to be able to understand ourselves? So the ultimate goal is, what is our goal basically here? So when we say union, when we become union, there's what is that about that we are after? As it was when you say union itself, so we talk about union with Jiva, with Brahman, and within this, so it's like when we talk about this, breaking it down, so when we actually talk about the union with Brahman, so there is no separate I, the merge of this limited I with the infinite. For that to happen, this is just the science, like any science, it has its steps. For us to begin with, it's like the first thing is like we're talking about mind, right? So there's this saying like Jesa Anna Vesa Man. To start this practice of yoga, the first step is to get control on the food. So use the right food to purify ourselves. A good example is like, for example, if you go to a zoo, you see like elephants, big, large animals, sitting quietly, and you step across to the cages of a lion or tiger. You see they'll be moving around restlessly and stuff. It's a very clear example, a very clear illustration to see the kind of food that we eat. It actually drives us, the mind basically. The mind is formed out of it. So it's very important that we eat the right kind of food. And also, like, even starvation is not like, you have to eat the right amount of food too. If you don't eat food for a day, you become weak. 2 days, not only become weak physically but mentally too. 3 days, it's just like you kind of lose your, you're kind of losing the memory and stuff. And then you won't be able to even think through it and stuff. So even that is not good. So having the right kind of food and right amount of food is very important. And then we talk about like practice. We can hear any amount of lectures, but that does not do much good. So practice is the very key. And another obstacle that we come across is doubt. Because when we hear things, it's hard to it's hard to believe it and get started. There is this doubt. So how do we get through it? Just like when you do a little practice, you get a glimpse of it. Then you'll be able to walk through the next steps. So practice is very important here. So in terms of like Ashtanga Yoga, as you said, like the Yama and Niyama, those are the very basic fundamentals for anybody to succeed in this. So if we kind of lose those fundamentals and get into doing asanas, pranayamas, or pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and stuff, and if we do it for years and we say, okay, I'm still not seeing any difference, I'm still not able to do meditation and stuff, because the fundamentals are not right. So first thing is to get the fundamentals correctly, the yama and niyama. Once we have that, is we get into the asana, is the posture. It's very important to do a trained set of exercises repeated regularly. And then as we get through that, until you get to a higher state, then you choose an asana that you are more comfortable with, and sit in a posture that would help you sit for a longer time and stuff. You're comfortable. One of the biggest thing is to keep the spine, the neck straight, because the spinal cord because most of the activity that happens through that. So it's like basically there is a neural current that passes through the nerves. When you practice sitting in a certain posture, this current gets displaced and it gets routed. So you have to practice this asanas first, and then you slowly get into the pranayamas, which is pranayama is controlling the prana. And the gross form of the prana is the breath. So it's very important. So when we start, even before we start this pranayama, we start with, as we talk about the neural current, the first one is the nadi shodhan, is cleansing of the nerves. It's very important that we do this, the cleansing of the nerves. It's not difficult. It's just you can start with a simple practice, like you breathe in with one nostril, breathe in fully, and then slowly exhale from the other nostril. Then you repeat that from the other nostril, and then breathe out with the opposite one. So this will help with cleansing the nerves. And so for first months, I would say like practicing it 4 times or like 3 times. Like they call it as Trikala Sandhya. That is just as the day transitions from the night into day, like early mornings and stuff, or in the noon where the morning turns into the afternoon. Like 4 times, this kind of a practice is going to help you very much, help all of us. So that is the Madhyana Sandhya. And then as the evening turns into the night time, so that is the Sayankal Sandhya. So these 3 Sandhyas, you practice this pranayama, it's going to help immensely. It's not hard, it's just that you have to kind of have initial effort to do a little bit of it, and you will have a glimpse in less than a couple of weeks. Just do this practice 3-4 times a day, and then it's like each practice, as I said, like we do it like 3 times, 4 times at a time. 4 of these pranayamas at a time. That will help immensely. Then we slowly get in from the pranayamas into the pratyahara. For pratyahara is basically restraining the senses. Because we are all, because after the senses, everything that is around us is to kind of engage us more sensually. So it gets very difficult in these times, in this world. Or, I'm not sure of any other world, but I meant to say it's like where we are currently, which is very outward. It's very hard to turn yourself inward. So one thing that could help with this turning inward or pratyahara is Omkar Upasana. Like I was starting when I start with this, you take in a deep breath and do the japa of the pranava. When you exhale with Om along with the meaning. A-U-Ma. A stands for the waking, U stands for the dream, Ma stands for the deep sleep. And then you kind of settle down in shanti, in peace. That is the Turiya Avastha. So it's like if you do a chant, for instance, like let's take a deep breath and just for once. A good close example for this, I'm trying to speed up myself here, but if you see the ring of the bell, the sound wanes off slowly. Like this, your Omkar, it's kind of slowly wanes off, and then it's like you'll get into the Nistabdata. That state, that's going to help with this pratyahara. And then we talk about dharana, is focusing on a point. So when we focus, this is a good practice. People practice various ways. At the very least, you could actually focus on the tip of your nose. If we can take a quick try here, let's kind of look to the tip of the nose. So this is one way to get to it. Another one is you put your favorite god in front of you at a height that is exactly, at a distance that is exactly the height of your body where it is and stuff. So it's the same distance. And you look at that posture on a particular fixed location there and look at it without blinking your eyelids or moving your eyeballs. Initially it will be a little difficult, but it will get easy. You may get watery eyes, but still not too bad. It will help you, kind of, you won't feel it, you'll feel that. You'll get that dharana in there. So then we talk about meditation. So when we talk about meditation, one of the best form of meditation is meditating on the self, the I. Anything that comes to our mind. So when you talk about I, you slowly kind of reflect on it. You're reflecting on your I. You're trying to find. So mind is going to bring different thoughts. Okay, I need to go here, I need to go there. You'll ask yourself first, who am I? So anything starts with the first person, goes to second person and the third person and stuff. So you first ask the question, okay, I need to go here, I need to go there, or I have anything that comes to your mind. So you bring back to the first question first. The mind brings in front of you anything, okay, different things. But you ask first, tell me who am I? And then you don't look for an answer, but when you ask this question, it kind of breaks through all the other thoughts. This is very effective in meditation. And then when you do this practice of this inquiry into this I, initially it is a thought. Basically what is I? Say, I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, then who am I? So there will be like, the rest of the thoughts goes away, but there is this thought as to I is the thought. And then after the thought, you will having a feeling of I. There is not even the thought, but there is something as I that we feel. So you say, I'm not this body because the body stays and I leave, like we see with everybody. Not this mind because it changes all the time. And then we slowly go from the body-mind into this feeling of I, still I exist, that is undeniable. Then from this feeling, you slowly go into this thing, where is this? There's initially the perception and feeling, and then you slowly get into that where there won't be even the feeling of I. That will get into there will be a temporary state where there is not even a feeling of I. that we can call it as samadhi. But again, as you see, there is this thing, you can go until that far, but you cannot exert yourself beyond that. So that is then the self itself acts from there, and it kind of dissolves this I for good. So there won't be any returning from there. That is the realization. That is the self. Basically, we have found ourselves. We are right now resting in this body and mind, thinking this. Now we found ourselves. Thank you very much.